Hello, and welcome back to episode 2 of the Deep Shit Podcast.
I'm back.
I'm your host, Sylvie Silva, here with the other host, Bougie. How you doing?
Good, doing good.
You had a show or even a couple shows this week, right?
I one show this week. It was good. That motion coming about.
What do you this is like your 3rd or 4th time performing live or what show? Number 2.
I
Yeah.
can't
Yes, cool. So what do you feel like you learned between 1 and 2? What was the same? What was different?
just being more loose, like in my body while I'm performing. Before like the song starts playing, you just give like a little backstory on a quick summary of what the song is about, so you know what you're getting ready to go into.
Yeah.
But this time, for whatever the reason might have been, but I realized like in the music, in the song, I'm telling you what it's about. But just being more loose and more comfortable uh in that environment, I was reminding myself I literally prayed for all of that. So I'm living it.
I love that. And speaking of prayer, we would love to open up in prayer because deep shit is a combination of talking about big issues, deep issues, real issues, raw issues at the intersection of mental health and spirituality. And it doesn't have to be a divided place. So if you don't mind, can you do the honors and just say just a quick opening?
I feel like I always start my prayers with thank you. Because there's just so much gratitude and so many things to be thankful for. So what I'm feeling called to say is just thank you for life. Thank you for having a space to be able to do this, to be able to have people come and watch. I know that every day, each day, we're being moved by something that we can't see that's bringing all things about in our like great things in our life, great opportunities, great resources, more people, and just feeling overall better in our body. I'm just thankful, just gratitude. That's really all.
Amen. Thank you. That was beautiful. So, before we get into tonight's topic, can you tell me a little bit about you said you prayed for your music thing. Tell me just like a 30-second clip of, how it all started and how the journey's been so far, show 1 and show 2, and maybe just how the song came about.
Like when you say that, you mean like going into the show or music?
Yeah, yeah. How did you become a musician? I know you said you switched recently from more of like a street sound to like more of a Christian trap. Is that what you said? No, you described it as
Spiritual,
full trap.
because I wasn't bounded by a religion, for real.
Yeah, spirit. Yeah, for real. Yeah, I just love to hear the origin story.
Honestly, music came about on accident. That was nothing I ever thought I would be doing. Just something happened, like like relationship wise with a girl, and then that led me to. This was years ago. I think I was like in 8th grade. No, 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 I was like in 9th grade. That led me to just want to have an outlet to express what I was feeling, and then I just realized, oh, this is fun, and I wasn't really taking it serious. It was always just something fun to do, and whatever it is you're doing, remember that. Remember how it feels when it's fun. What ended up happening was I started to get too caught up in the numbers, all this and that, and it was all good and okay though because it gave me a chance to come back to remembering I'm doing it for the love of it, to actually being able to express myself. Like you can't lose while you started. But I was getting feedback from people. Like, I was just posting my little clips. People were saying like, "What are full songs that drop this?" And I'm like, "Oh, people really want to hear this. Like, people really want to hear what I gotta say." So I just kept doing it, and that eventually turned into a love for it.
And how did the evolution to spiritual trap come about?
Music, it was always even going into making songs, like, I don't write my music down, I don't pre-write nothing, it's just whatever I need to say in that moment, in that specific moment, so I always used it as something to let out what I was feeling in that moment, and when things change in my real life, things the music is gonna change too, so once I started to become more conscious and awake of self and all the deep metaphysical shit, all of that, it automatically was like, I couldn't do nothing about it. Of course, it's gonna go into music, like, because it's the music is me.
Yeah, I really can relate in a different way. I'm just turned 49 and just started playing the bass, my first like musical foray. I just decided like, hey, for the same reason, I've been going through a divorce the last couple years, and instead of trying to distract myself from all the stuff that, comes up, I was like, okay, you're gonna sit in it. You know what I mean? Like this is your lesson to learn. This is your crucible to alchemize. It was so intense. There was so much to feel and to like not escape from that I was like, I need to dance it out, sing it out, scream it out. Like I need more than just journaling. And so I was like, okay. I'm gonna get myself a musical instrument. And I'm a big tall lady with huge hands, and I was like, I want a bass. I was like, I've always been a dancer. I was like, okay, this is a rhythm instrument. I think I've got and I found the most perfect bass. Her name is Jahira, and we're best friends. And it unlocked this expression. And I do the same thing, very little writing and just more like, hey, this is between me and God, this is the expression, but it's been very joyful because I feel like every day has I don't feel, I know, every day has its own energy, and, like, music is the almost, like, audible capture of that vacillation, that there can be so much music created throughout all of time, and none of it's exactly the same. You know what I mean? Like, it's just infinitely different because you're capturing live energy. You're capturing the energy of that moment, and I think that's also very much demonstrated in jazz, right? Like, that's the whole concept of, like, never again will it be exactly this configuration.
See, and that's how I feel about like someone today actually. Like I sent him an open verse because he been asking for one, and usually like depending on how the energy is, usually I charge for that. But like if like I said, the energy makes sense, I'll just send it to you. Like and we just work out of the pure, love of working. And he been trying to work. He asked me like, did I like his part? And I ain't gonna say I don't like when people ask me that. You ask what you ask, but when people ask me that, the same thing come to my mind. I'm like, it don't matter if I like it or not. Because if I tell you I don't, now you feel like you got to change something about your art. Like, don't worry about my opinion. I feel like, do you like it? Like, if you like it, then that's all that matter. Cause like, and what we was talking about with jazz and just music in general, nobody could be another you. Nobody can make music like you. Well, by default, just you being you, you're already unique and authentic. And with especially like not to put it in a category, but they call it underground music. Like, there are a lot of what people call clones. Like there are people who come into trying to make music, trying to sound like someone else on purpose.
Yeah.
And I understand that because in a way, we all have people that inspire us. And me coming into music, like when I first started, there was an artist that inspired me. I realized very quickly I could never make anything like him. I can take the inspiration and whatever and do similar cadences, but it would never sound like him. It would never be perfected the way he do it. And I realized like me seeing it like that helped me realize the uniqueness in my own sound though. Cause it's the same for me. No one can ever do it like him.
Yeah,
That's what
and, like, the lack of editing in general, like, I've come to terms even just, like, from a mental health perspective that all of me is all of me. It's not like, "Oh, I'm gonna present this aspect of me because it's shinier and it's prettier and it's brighter," or, like, this flaw I'm gonna over dramatize because it's a popular trend to talk about. It's like almost like notes. Each part of you has a different vibe. And like when you express from a flow state, it is just all of you getting to merge in that way and not like, "Oh, but this sound, oh, I sound, better when love song or breakup song," you know what I mean? Versus happy song or like I just feel like it's an expression of all of you and that even shows up in like what I've been experiencing is like I'm learning how to sing. I've been told my whole life that I can't sing. So I'm just reclaiming because it's just like I'm just reclaiming like, hey, I get to sing. I can sing if I want to, but it almost feels like different parts of my body. Like if I'm singing so I don't know, it's almost like the sound comes from different parts of my body.
I heard from this book I read, The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, it says somewhere in there, sing like be so free, like sing like the birds outside and like don't care who's listening. Like you just don't care. You just go the birds don't care.
Yeah. And like little kids too, they're like, what? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it's like, I love hearing that sound. Like, even at karaoke, I'm like, yes. When someone's singing and it's not sounding professional, I like it with dance too. I've been like, I love street dance. I love street dance for lots of different reasons, but I've also been like, a product of the 90s. So there was lots of like cardboard on and like like there was just like a lot of street dance in my life and the best dancers are the ones who don't use their head at all. They're merging with music moving through their body as energy. You won't see the same moves, you won't see every time it's different even for them. and they get lost in their own. Like, I don't know if you know who Lay Twins are. They're like super famous now, but I used to watch them when they were like on the corner. They've been dancing for so long and they never dance the same. And they're always like really into it, you know? And I just think that that's what we were talking about, like the energy, the daily energy. It's like there's so many intricacies just within that. And when you get out of your own way, you can like merge with that in this really beautiful way. I love that, like so much of connecting with God is through dancing and singing.
I like to say like the creator was a creator. As imitations of the creator or made in the likeness of the creator, we produce creations. And I was gonna say, I don't know if you would categorize this as street dance, but growing up, I used to be into dubstep. And that's what that reminded me of because dubstep is like a flow. Like I'm pretty sure people probably did have like pre-planned dance moves, but for the most part, with the beat, they'll just be flowing with it. So that's what that reminded me of.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found out the name of the thing I was trying to remember for Mardi Gras. It's called Second Line, or at least that's what the internet said.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's yeah. Dancing is a powerful expression of embodying the divine for me, watching and doing it. I wanted to get your perspective, and this is not on our docket to talk about, but I just wanted to add, like, what's your thoughts right now just on the state of the world and the changes that have happened since even we last talked?
the Great Awakening. We're seeing. I just jumped straight to the Book of Revelation, and like from the Bible, because it's at least for me in my reality, I've seen, and I haven't read it into its entirety. It's like that's probably like a really hard read, but just even with a broad perspective of it, it's prophesizing end times, like how everything because is going to come about to lead to that transformation of what we call heaven on earth. So I just know that whatever these people in power, like what they have going on, I know that they work off of control structures and like they on purpose are trying to push information in front of us and distract us and keep us away from looking within. So I already intuited there's no distraction. And I also know that even though there's a lot of things that we'll be seeing that we call sad and horrific and whatever we want to call it, I know that but one is all accounted for. It's counted all joy. And what's taking place, even though through appearance it might not look like it, is really the best thing for the world. All of us waking up and coming back together as one. Because I really think that's the point is going to get. And I don't know, of course, no one knows. And I don't know if I'm going to experience it in this lifetime, but I'm seeing it in like my family already. Like just the files coming out, the type of stuff that we can talk about now wouldn't have never thought we'd be two people to talk about that. So I know all of it is happening for a greater purpose.
Yeah, and I love, like, the audacity of hope, like that concept of this is exactly when you let your light shine. This is exactly when you're like, not only am I not distracted, I'm not afraid, And I was thinking there's this movement again, I only know it in a cursory, I've never done a deep dive, but back during the civil rights and women's lib and anti-war movement called 1,000 Points of Light. And the concept was like, even though there's all these social resistances and all this, like world unrest, like you can take so and so out, but you can't take us out. We're gonna another one's gonna pop up. 10 more is gonna pop up. For every bright light you take out, 100 more are gonna pop up. And this concept of a world organization that's like we're gonna light everyone up. Like everyone's gonna get lit up. And I think in a very real and tangible way, my mission at Cicadas activate, help everybody activate and not get lost and model that it's easier than you think to switch paradigms. But I also think that some of us are in a better position to just drop an incomplete framework and move over, and other people have a harder time dismantling old structures and watching them crumble. It's like if we've already seen the promised land, we're excited to get there, and it's gonna be difficult, but we have a light at the end of the tunnel that is an understanding and a firmament. But for others, it's almost like a density or a vibration. Like if their vibration is too low, they can't see that. They can't get to that other dimension of understanding. So it just looks like it's just destruction. And in some real ways, the book of Revelations, which is not a hard read, so don't psych yourself out. Also audiobooks, also straight up for myself. I had to do those kid Bible videos the first time I was like, I'm gonna read the Bible by kid animated videos. Like it's a lot to get through and it helps when it's put in context. But Revelations is considered a blessing. The book of Revelation is considered a blessing just to read, even to read out loud. So even if that's all you do, it's a beautiful thing to have spoken out of your mouth and heard through your ears. But this I'm really fascinated. I said last time I call myself like a spiritual Indiana Jones because I've always been curious since I was like little. Like, hey, bug, where'd you come from? Where you going? What you do? Like just very into deep shit. Like before I knew what it was called, I was just like really like would go out in the yard by myself and contemplate. You know what I mean? At like 3 years old. And so I didn't want to believe in something because someone told me. My culture is a very religious culture. I'm Egyptian. There's very devout, religious culture throughout all of time, right? Like someone was always worshiping something real hard. And I didn't want my culture to be the thing. I didn't want fear, like, oh, I'm going to believe in something because I'm afraid something bad is going to happen. I wanted the truth. I was like, I don't want something another man can teach me. I want a direct experience. And so I think it's fascinating when we're talking about these paradigm shifts to then over like other people's language for it or like other spiritual frameworks because they're talking about the age of Aquarius. Have you heard that? Like, oh, this is entering the age of Aquarius, or like some of the metaphysical camp is talking about how we're literally shifting to a different dimension.
Yeah, Earth.
Right, and that, like, Earth is splitting into old Earth and new Earth, and it started for me, like, thinking about the Big Bang in Genesis, and I was like, "There's no actual conflict between the Big Bang and Genesis, it's just 2 different languages trying to explain the same thing." And to me, like, there's no actual conflict in between people's understanding, there's just one ultimate truth and language trying to disseminate down. And I think for me, and I know I'm talking a lot, but it's an important thing to bring up. The division between like, oh, the new age people can't talk to the God people and the God people can't talk to the Islamic people and that like, oh, there's this so that's like I don't think it's like that. I think it's like there's the ultimate truth, there's the closest source to that truth, which I believe personally is Jesus Christ and what the teachings of, and then there's iterations of that truth. Like the truth is still truth, but it's not as directly close. So then you get different iterations in these other practices that are still true. They're just not the complete truth. They're like parts of the truth. And so
Truth is what it is, no matter what we say it is. Truth is going to still be that, no matter what any of our human minds try to. It's just what it is. And one thing I was just telling my friend, because we was talking about before we hopped on this, we was talking about he was talking about the wars and stuff that was going on, and I think I said something along the lines of, "I know for a fact that the source of existence itself accounted for its people straying, like, far away from it." Like, what's the word? We can't really be separate from it regardless. That's why I'm, like, trying to put it into yeah, because we can't we can't split from the source, but the illusion that we separated, I'm pretty sure it accounted for all of that. That's why I say that through our human minds, what we see as bad things happening, I know for a fact, in the highest sense, it's all good regardless. It's all good. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot, so I'm just gonna pass it back.
yeah, it's really beautiful perspective, right? Because you're absolutely right. From a dimension of perfect love, like you're going home. It's a homecoming. So the how you get there is going to be a temporary discomfort, but it's definitely just a momentary passing. And I think it's that to me, it's like energetic sink or swim. Like you can either lighten up and like not be as attached, to this dimension, this job, this table, this, bank account, this projected future of how you thought your life was going to go or how you thought the world was going to go. Or you can like, no, like white knuckle grasp on to like, no, my identity is this job, this house, this how I thought it was going to go. And that's like kind of to me the shift that I feel happening right now.
Yep, literally. I was just telling my friend, and perhaps it's always like this. It's been like this throughout all the time, but I'm like, we're living in something that's going to be in probably not textbooks, maybe digital books or something, but we're living in some form of like this is important part. Like it's an interesting time to be a Gen. I'd say that.
Do you believe you were born for such a time as this?
Yeah, because they have too many things in my life that seem pre-planned or orchestrated. Yeah, synchronicities let me know that this is not what I thought it was. Like when even like into this moment, this present moment that we're talking from events that I'm able to look back on, it was literally like the mirror, what we like see out of these two eyes, like this world started to bend in ways that didn't make sense just because of my perspective. And I know in any given moment, if there's nothing that I remember, I know for a fact, even if my mind try to pretend like it don't know, it knows. Present moment awareness, that's it. Like put like all my God power, all my attention into this moment. I'm good. Like I literally see it all again. I be thinking about like when I was a kid. I'm like that's all that was. Like when I was a kid, I didn't have all these concepts in my head of how this works, but I was still embodying it to the fullest. So it let me know that it don't need my mind to understand it to embody it. It's more of a at least the way I'll say it, heart. Like, cause the heart don't have a conscious mind, but the heart is very much a living organism, has feelings and knows, has information in it. I put it like that, has information in it. So I know that what we're talking about, the truth, that's why I resonate with Buji's teacher so much because you don't need your mind to get to what he's pointing to. You don't need imagination. You don't need another practice. It's literally what's looking right now. And that's why I say, like, all of us, even the ones that's doing evil, they're still connected to the Most High God. They're just distorted. Like where they're acting from, the place they're coming from is just from a place of distortion. Like I genuinely think they're deceived, but they're gonna do them while we here, embodying what we embodying and living. That source is, even if we're not conscious of it, I know it's still working through all of us, getting us to where we need to be. And for some people that might look different. Like for me, the way it's appearing as me doing what we're doing now, talking on, on a podcast and enjoying the moment and to somebody else it might be their job they might need to get something out of it, not to say that they're supposed to become so identified with it and take it, but that's a part of it. That's the way this consciousness plays. It plays all these roles and does all these things, but I know it's all to get back to the totality of remembering itself.
Yeah, and I think that you put that so beautifully because it's nobody else's path is your path. You are not God. Like even in therapy, I had to learn that like I don't know better for somebody else. Because a lot of people come and they like expect you to be the expert at what they can do. And I'm like, I couldn't tell you. Maybe your path is that, you have to go off and explore some things that maybe are not on someone else's path to explore or make some mistakes, learn some things, do some things like that's why to me the concept of judgment, and I'm not saying like I don't judge, but it really is a foreign concept to me because it is just what it is. Like you sold drugs. Okay, you sold drugs. You won a Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, you won a Nobel Peace Prize. Like it's very I don't wanna say equal, but, like, people make such a big difference about other people, how they look, how they dress, the choices they make, the path they're on, and I'm like, "You have no idea, like, that's so insignificant to God."
I think that what we're talking about with judgment, this is something similar to the way we get taught time, I feel. Like, I think the way we get taught time is not what is. Like, I think the way we get taught it is a box. And since it's so collectively agreed upon, that's the way reality appears to us as that box. From my understanding, there's always just now. Like right now. Like this is the same right now, like right now. But the way we get taught time it's so yeah, because like that place that we was just talking about, like the judgment, I kind of call that like a blank. I think of it as a blank canvas. I think of like life, reality as a blank canvas, and the awareness that we can choose what we want to draw on it. And that's why I say like it's weird though, because I'm not saying that if like you push a baby off a building, that's not bad, but I think when we go higher into these other dimensions, the perspective or the way that we perceive bad is not what we think it is, or what we really like what it really is. Not justifying it, but like how you say to God, it's just what is.
Think have do you know about Schrodinger's cat? Did we talk about this yet? It's like a quantum physics theory, and I'm certainly not a quantum physicist, but it's exactly that. It's talking about how like the concept of space time fabric. This is how I'll put it in my own understanding, so I don't sound like I know what I'm talking about from a scientific perspective. I believe that truth is God, is love. Those three things are interchangeable because they're one main source energy. They produce all of the everything. And that truth is an algorithm. It is a mathematical, energetic, light, sound, frequency
It's his own thing.
matrix that runs the everything of everything, right? All of the everything comes from that algorithm, is what I'll call it, like that space time fabric, oneness, collective source. And so, from that perspective, all energy can go apart and come together again. That said, when you co-opt that energy, when you try and like be as powerful as God, like hack the algorithm for your own personal gain or power, like hence the push the baby off the roof or like the Epstein stuff, like it does then have an equal and opposite consequence. Like you will reap the consequence of that disruption because you were the initiate, your energy is what disrupted it, right? So it's going to have an effect, right? Everybody has an effect, and it's gonna affect the algorithm. Either you're on the frequency of that algorithm or you're like when you put two sounds together that are disturbing the frequency, and that disturbance.
I'm getting a download. I'm getting a download. That's why I did that. I'm getting a download as you saying all that. I'm thinking of
Okay.
I wasn't trying to cut you off. It's something
No, please.
is lit up. I was thinking of when Genesis or the earth got flooded. I'm thinking of the way you're describing it. I'm thinking like, okay, on it, let's just say 3D then, 3D here on Earth. People they're gonna do their evil stuff. They're gonna do what they do, but the creation is gonna always self correct itself because the ones that are doing the evil, and me and you, we exist inside of that algorithm. That's the reason why we exist in general because that existence gave us existence. It's because it's existence itself, and that's why I know. That's why I know it's so hard for our minds to understand but it precedes the mind too though like see it's all these it's but that's what I thought of. I thought of the flood happening for the reasons it happened, and that could take it literally or from the metaphysical lens. The way I'm taking it is that algorithm is always going to self correct no matter what anything tries to do and that's the main thing I'm seeing with these greedy beings. They're trying to play God, um, and they're trying to disconnect the people that's inside. I mean, us. They're trying to disconnect us from that too, and get us accustomed to their algorithm, that their man-made algorithm. But even then, the source still accounted for one. Like once you give it attention, it's still like it always helps. It always helps you because you're not separate from it. That's why I say like it accounted for these people making these fake jobs and ways of living. Like it still works through that.
Yeah, the distractions, like back to the rest and remember from, last time, like that joy is a rebellion. Rest is a revolution, right? Rest is resistance to be like, no, God's got it. I got it. The God in me, my God, who's like in the spiritual world, all the powers or darkness are like bink compared to this like beyond nuclear times nuclear. I mean, the power of that algorithm that created everything really is so much more powerful. And that's what they don't want you to remember, that you are that powerful. That power runs through you because then it's game over. So if I can't defeat you, I'm going to distract you, right? I'm going to disorganize you. I'm going to disconnect you and make you hate your neighbor and, all that good stuff. But once you're like, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm personally not afraid of dying. I don't want to die. I have beautiful children. I don't want anybody to suffer ever, especially children. But I'm not afraid, because I know this is almost
Like
like a school.
like a few seconds of the like, what you're gonna wake back up to? This was just like a few seconds.
Because I think one of the reasons, like, when people say are like, "Oh, why'd you call the Cicada Institute, my nonprofit?" And I'm like, "Because there's certain people like that never forgot. I never forgot that I was something before I was a human." I don't know why, but I've always just been a kid who, like, always it was just obvious to me. I never, like, got brainwashed or I don't know, like, I just didn't buy it. I was stayed in that kid-like framework, like you were saying earlier. Like, I still think things are so fascinating and wonderful, like, all these hidden high fives in, like, my yard in the moment, like, in the now, all the language of the now, which has no verbal language. There's you know what I mean? Like, you c something that pure and speak something that holy without there being some sort of like dropping down into a lower form that's not exactly it. It's all just pointing at direct experience. But God's all, I mean, the creation sources everywhere all the time, and it's endlessly fascinating and rejuvenating. Like that's the other thing is like, oh, I don't have to have it. I don't need to worry, but I also don't need to like know anything, but I've got it. God's got me. That's all I need to know, right? And each moment I'm gonna get this instruction that I can like really count on.
First, definitely speaking through you for sure. Everything resonated. I never heard somebody say that they like so confidently remembered that they wasn't a human before this. The closest thing I think I've gotten to it for myself, I was as I had a dream that I was an angel with other angels, but that dream didn't feel like a regular dream. It felt like that's what was happening because I don't remember waking up, but time and all that was years ago. But the other thing was having a lucid dream. Like this is where I knew like it got deep. I was like 9 years old, and I wasn't articulating how I'm saying it now, but um, I just knew my body was asleep. I knew for a fact, like I remember, like, oh, I'm asleep right now, but I'm not asleep. I don't think I had my physical body, but something was looking, and I knew consciously how to make things spawn out of thin air. And I'm pretty sure I was gonna never leave. Like I probably was just gonna stay there forever. But the dream made a portal open on purpose to suck me in to wake me back up. So that like that's how I woke up. But I'm like, dang, I woke up and my first words was like, that was so cool. So like
Yeah, and I mean, you're still young enough that like not that you asked, but my recommendation is like stay there. You
yeah,
stay in that knowing. I'm
yeah.
so serious. I've been in so many rooms where people like were more powerful than me or more educated, like I'm better than you. Like in whatever, you know what I mean, like social status way. And I was just like, but why? Like not in a disrespectful way, but what do you have that I aspire to or want or need? And I don't know why God gave me that capacity to, like, just always be 6 years old in my mind, like, not convinced of other people's, like, rules and instructions, I guess. I don't know, like, it wasn't really rebellious, it was just more like, "Why would I listen to you?" Like, I look at the quality of your life, and I don't wanna go down that path, like, why would I follow what you're telling me to do, you know? I realize now that that's the definition of like sovereignty and power. It's just being like, I'll listen to you, right? Like I want to learn. I'm not me, Sylvie doesn't know everything. I'm still like learning and I'll listen to you, but you don't have power over me to like force whatever you think is best for me. Like I have a very intimate relationship with God and I just know it. Like I just know it like I know that I have hands or something. Like it's just always been like a of course. And I realize now how special that is that that was like a gifting or like how God made me, that I never lost that. I still get in my head a lot, which is my biggest problem. Like I'm like, I should be doing something and I still know the way and I want to, I. That's
I'm
all this.
me. I'm talking to me as I'm about to say this, but I'm talking to me, talking to you. We gotta ask more often, who is saying that? Who is the one that's saying they gotta do this? That's another thought that we're watching. Because I've noticed and I've seen through experience, action get taken care of. Like when I'm not trying to like when I'm not doing all that to myself, I see that I still automatically just do what I'm supposed to do. Like, and the making music really helped me see that because I used to stress so much about "Oh, I gotta make a song. Like after I drop this song, I'm not gonna have another song." Like, but I seen how I always ended up making that song. Like whatever that song was in the moment, and it ended up like not to get caught up in the numbers, but the feedback was always good from that song. And I could have made any one of those that songs, but it was the specific piece of creation that needed to get made, and it got made. And that was before I knew all this. That was just happening. But now with the awareness, I see like all that pressure be so unnecessary because intuitively and automatically, since we spirits anyway, when we allow it to, the action just happens. The body just moves.
And for me, because I am a visual processor, my goal, I was talking about how I've been learning a lot from water. It's like picturing a water drop. So I think I was telling you that I like to freestyle, but it's like a private thing that I don't share with many people. And I've been like encouraging myself to express myself more that way just for my own, like getting out of my own limitations. And so my name is Eddie River. That's my like name because when you're a water droplet, if you're trying to go anywhere else but where the river's going, you're just gonna have a real hard time, like, doing your own thing, right? But when you're just like, "I give up," you're going faster than I mean, yeah, and the purest water goes the fastest over rocks. That's how you purify it. That's how you separate the stagnant water, that will get you sick and nothing to live in with the pure drinking water is, like, being in that flow, and I do think that's that quantum shift, right? Like, can I dissolve from me being the power source into this like trusting and kid-like trust of your parents that
Uh,
got you.
did I tell you about the ebook I read?
When
Um,
did you write an ebook? Please tell me.
it's called Resting as Awareness, and it's basically about what you just described. It's resting consciously as the awareness, and like how I was saying, you watch everything because automatically you're watching everything that's happening. Like it's not something you turn off and turn off. Like I mean, turn on and turn off. Like if I tell you to stop being aware, you can't do nothing. You close your eyes, something is still aware. You plug your ears, you hold your breath, you turn off all the senses, something is still gonna be aware. So it's about resting as that, and when you rest as that, you don't interfere with all the things the source is trying to bring to you anyways. And like I've been doing it. I don't know how long, can't put no time on it, but I've been seeing the reflection reflect back to me that ease of me not interfering and getting out my way. Like I think of like you say water droplet, I think of you turning on the tub and the water's coming out. And when you're resting as awareness, you're allowing all the water to come out so the tub could fill. But when you get in the way, you're putting your hand in the water still gonna come out, but you blocking the fullness of how much it can come out. So it's just a ebook to remind you about God is within you, and you're not separate from it. And when you rest as awareness, all these things you're trying to manifest and all these different logistical things, somehow, some way they still get taken care of when you get out the way. And it's not the way I written it, I didn't want it to be like, I give real life examples, like, this is not gonna be no concept because like, one thing I used to hate when I was little, I used to look up YouTube tutorials on how to do things, and they'll be like and realistically, it's things that you coulda said in 4 or 5 seconds, but the video would be 7, 8 minutes long because they're trying to get that ad revenue or whatever they're trying to do. The video just would
Yeah.
overly long, so since
Talking about talking.
so stuff like that used to happen so much, it got to a point where anything that I'm doing, I wanted it to be so simple, so straight to the point. Cause it's like maybe 6, 7 pages. And it's real practical things that you can do like in real life to see like, wait, God is within me for real, not just a thought in my head. Like you would start saying, cause I be thinking of it like this too. People be trying to manifest, like let's say they manifested a job. No, I don't keep talking about jobs, like a car or something. If you can manifest a car, what else can you do? Like, why stop there is what I'm saying. Like, and because it's really deeper than anything physical, but that's like the baby steps to get into what's really being pointed to. Like when I tell you that God is within you, because once you know that, the physical stuff really, it's just play. It's as it should be. When you're the source, you don't make these things. You don't put those things on a pedestal when they coming from you, anyways. You don't bow down to the material.
Or yeah, or even like the three-dimensional manifestation of that. Like you're still taking that higher perspective, right? Like even if you do get the house, it's a blessing, but
Yeah.
that's still not like where you're it doesn't draw your attention back down to that lower vibe, from it came from like I really love the intersection of quantum physics and like spirituality because it just helps me like, okay, so there's this ultimate source creator and then our creator. And when our creator and that creator are in union, the creation is like, you know what I mean? Like it's
Quick.
like,
It's quick.
yeah, boom. And it's like in my visual mind, almost like gotta come down through the different layers until it gets into physical form. So when I get a house or whatever, it's a blessing, but it's the physical form of something that started a long time ago. So I'm up there, even though I'm appreciating and grateful for what's down here. Its significance it's not my attention. It's not where my attention and affection are.
That was something I don't want to struggle. It was just a part of the journey because I was like, once I started to get that understanding that like me and I say Heavenly Father, me and Heavenly Father are one. Something like the mind thought came up with like how to be grateful for that if I know that it's freely given and all these different thoughts. But like now my understanding is like these things like you can definitely like be grateful and happy and all this and that. For at least for me, more of like a silent acceptance of this is the way it is for me. Like when I tell myself like I'm a child of the most high God, like this is my divine inheritance. Like this is the way it is. I'm very blessed, very grateful. But it's more like a normalcy. Like the same way we were talking on the phone, like it's normal. We like it's just what it is. Grateful for it, but it's normal. So at least for me, that framing doesn't keep it high on the pedestal and it also allows me to be present and grateful with it in the moment.
And also that it has purpose, right? Like, the whole purpose of having material wealth is to bless others. The whole purpose of having a strong light or a strong remembering is to help illuminate others, right? Like everything that's of God is for the benefit of others. It's not really about like, oh, if I get this much bank, oh, if I get this much this, oh, if I did like so temporary. The whole point of that type of abundance is to complete your work and your mission. And these are the things that will fuel that. Maybe it's living in the wilderness and owning nothing. Maybe it's owning a lot of things. Maybe it's like, I think to the fame thing real quick, because, I've lived many lifetimes in my lifetime, and I've had an opportunity to meet all kinds of different people from all kinds of different places and spaces. And it's not only smoke and mirrors, not only some of the loneliest people I met were the most famous people I've met. That's not true for everybody, but it's a hard life. But also, like, it's so empty. So, like, illusions, when you get to them, you can have like the most attractive partner, but if they don't have substance, it's like eating McDonald's every day. You're like, it was good for the moment, but after week 5, you're really not feeling healthy? And I think of it as like there's only light or life and darkness or death. And every moment in the now either has life or has death. And it has nothing to do with this reality. You know what I mean? Like, it has nothing to do with have a house, don't have a house, be homeless, be famous. Like, everybody's path's their own. Maybe some people are supposed to be homeless, some people are supposed to be famous. Like, I don't know.
I genuinely do think like yeah, I don't know if I should word it like that. I was gonna say like a lot of people don't resonate with the idea that we chose our lifetimes before we incarnated here because I guess like it can come off as insensitive to people who are going through certain things. But I genuinely do think with all my heart, and maybe of course not every single person is homeless, but I genuinely do think homeless people, I think they have some of the probably strongest souls. Like or like some of the strongest energy beings in the other dimensions. I genuinely think that like people who face a lot of hardship, it could be what we call karma, but also like from my own personal experience, I everything that in the moment, it be feeling like trash. It don't be feeling good at all. But I always seen how things that was hurting me in the moment or things that involved uncertainty or confusion, I seen how it shaped me into whatever I need it to be for a new now moment, and I'm always able to be grateful for it.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you said that about people who are houseless because I've been hanging out with a few friends of mine who've been sharing like their 30-year choosing at that point to be houseless or like living in cars or vans. And again, not everybody's story is the same, but what I've been learning is like that there's so much trust after going through so many don't know where you're going to sleep, don't know where you're going to eat, don't know what the day is going to bring, who's going to like so much uncertainty that there develops like such a close walk with the
Yeah,
divine and trust that then when they like transition into the city and like get an apartment and get a job or get a like whatever, it feels like a separation of that trust. This is just from the couple of folks that I've been talking to about like who's specifically like living in the woods up where Cicada is and like why they choose that lifestyle. And I was like, wow, like the opposite. This is from a therapeutic standpoint, but my teacher, Dewey Freeman, said the opposite of trust is control. So the more you're controlling, the less you're trusting. And I feel like it is that population has a lot of trust for, especially if you've been on the streets for 20 years, like there's a certain level of like, didn't know how you're going to make it and you made it. Didn't know how you're going to make it and you made it that cultivates a something in you that you don't really get unless you are pressed down or in other trying circumstances. You know, I was thinking about that with like, isn't it funny that people who have material wealth always still want something else, like a relationship or better health or, you know, whatever. But people who don't always have material wealth that live in like second world, third world countries often are content with what they have.
yeah, I don't think that's on accident. Like the fact that we can see that shows something is there. And I was gonna ask you if you could summarize it. Why do you think it is that people like with fame, of course not everybody, but like it's a common theme of people with all of these resources and that way tend to be some of the depressed people ever. I was gonna ask why do you think that is?
'Cause it's that disturbance of the algorithm. It's saccharin that's what I call it. I call it saccharin, like fake sugar, you know, the sugar that's supposed to, like, not make you fat and the little pink packets at the diner, you know, saccharin. It's like was supposed to be like, "Oh, we made this thing, and it's, you know, better than sugar because it's" you know, but, like, when you taste it, it leaves this, like, metallic it feels like it's taking from you, you know? Illusion, money, power, fame, playing God, being, you know, controlling another human being, like all these illusions. It's saccharine. It looks so sweet and you think you're gonna get away with it and not you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna be famous, I'm gonna be powerful, I'm gonna be in control, whatever. And you get there and there's no nutritional value. What value does it add to your life to have a bunch of bricks? And call it a mansion. Those bricks aren't gonna hug you. Those bricks aren't gonna leave a legacy for you. Those bricks aren't gonna change the world. Like it's a perversion of the algorithm. It's not truth. You know what I mean? So you get there and it's only gonna take from you. Actually, like so many people who have money lose time with their families because they're trying to keep their money. You know what I mean? Like, it's an illusion. Same with fame, like, oh, you think you're adored, but really you're like and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but, like, you're sort of like a publicly owned company. You know what I mean? You have it's
In case even with the I don't want to take too long because I like I know we're on a short time
yeah.
this episode is good.
Yeah.
But one thing with music I've seen, like people in this industry, they try to come around you so that they can pretend like they was rocking with you, so that when you do go into certain rooms and doors, you think that they mess with you, but they really just trying to own you. If you want to take it to the highest sense, they just trying to own you, pump money out of you, and leave you shitless. Like no pun intended. And like I said, that's just a common theme, and I really forgot where I was going with it. But they're definitely have these people who they just they think get, like, and that's just an endless void of nothing.
Yeah, and, like, that's why I was like, if I could give you any advice, it's don't believe the hype, like, don't co-opt any of society's instructions because you already know. You know what I mean? Like, no one can own another human. No one can buy like art God, this is what I say, and we'll get to and talk about this in a different area of life, but I'm a psychedelic assisted therapist and I don't advertise it because people have this whole thing about doing all these psychedelics and oh, I want to do. I'm like, no, you can't trick God and you can't treat sacred things like they're everyday mundane. You can't purchase love and you can't corrupt the commodification of light. So the more you can spot an illusion for an illusion while you're still at your age, the more it's like, I don't, it's simple. I don't need to ask questions. I don't need to know more. Like, these people have stuff and aren't happy. These people don't have stuff and are happy. Why? Because all the intangible and invisible things they have community, love, respect, dignity, giving back, living close, you know what I mean? Being grateful. So, like, the end. I don't need to forget anything. I already remember that, like, don't put your treasures where things can get stolen and destroyed. Like, that, this ain't it. This ain't the point. You know what I mean? This is the training ground. Like, none of this stuff matters, not even this flesh sack, you know? So I think when it comes to the come up, it's so, like, obvious to me that it's an illusion. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I hear you trying to sell me on it that I should wanna be, like, thinner and richer and whatever, but, like, I'm straight. Like, I'm grateful for everything I have. Like, I don't need more, you know? And I certainly don't need to sacrifice my values and my quality time and my impact to get those things. Those are the lesser of the exchange, you know? This was a really good episode. High five. Any
You
closing thoughts or words between now and next time?
you was just in that flow state. I was just taking it all in. Nah, I'm just happy we doing this, 'cause we just talking, and everybody don't just people don't always have other people they could talk to about stuff this deep. I know, like, it's just gonna be it's 'cause I'm trying to say it without, like I said, I don't really care for the numbers, but it's always good seeing the feedback from people and having a space for people to come in and watch and tune in whenever that flows. All of that is just, like, it's just yeah, it's good.
Well, I'm super stoked too that I'm not the CEO of making these connections happen. And I love that whatever is happening, it's got the fingerprint on it of divine. And I'm so honored to be here as well and excited to talk about deep shit next time. All right. See you later. Thanks again. Bye.